And I really recognize that during lockdown, this has been very hard for people. There's lots of other reasons why the inner critic comes up as well. The first move that I make in classes is to say to people, just look around, whether we're in person or online, look around. You are not alone. You're not alone. This is pervasive. It's pervasive. It's not a personal failing. And it's not to do with your reality. It's just to do with perception. I say just. It's not as easy as that, as we know. Okay. So to recognize, first of all, that it's not just about you. And then to tell you a little bit. The second move that I make is to tell you a little bit as to why. So psychologically, the inner critic is, I suppose, the equivalent of the loyal soldier. Right. And the metaphor that I use is the loyal soldiers that were found in the Pacific Ocean for years, for decades after the end of the Second World War, almost entirely, to my knowledge, Japanese. They were shipwrecked. They were on miles away from anywhere. And when they were picked up, and I think the last one was picked up like 35 years after the end of the Second World War, they were still fighting the war. They would get up every morning, they would do their drills, they would keep watch, they would keep their weapons clean, because they were still fighting that war. And this is what you're doing when you have the inner critic. You're still fighting an inner psychological battle for survival, one that actually you won a long time ago. And that's the battle, if you like, for safety. When a child is born, a human child, we're pretty helpless, if you think about it. Think about a foal or a calf that can stand up within a few minutes and run with a herd. All right. That's what keeps it safe. But as human children, we're pretty damn helpless. One of the very few survival mechanisms we do have, though, is really recognizing who our caregiver is within 10 minutes. And there's a really good reason for that. The reason is that we need to know who's going to protect us, who's going to keep us safe, who's going to, in terms of, our heritage, it was who's going to pick us up and run when predators come, who's going to keep us warm, who's going to feed us, who's going to love us in other ways. So what a child is has a built-in detection of is who that is. But also then they'll be looking to that person all the time for signs that they are safe, i.e. signs that they are still loved and are still going to be protected, that they still belong. And anything that shakes that becomes a huge problem. And it could just be, a remark, or the moment that, a caregiver turns away to do something else can feel really intensely upsetting for a small child because they don't have the wisdom, the experience to say, oh, look, well, it's okay because, dad's just got to go and do something else or mum's got to do this, instead of which they start panicking that they've been abandoned, because that does mean almost certain death historically in terms of the animalness of our bodies. So the loyal soldier is that part of your system that scans for threat, that sees it and then sends out the alarm. So rather than there being a little moment of going, okay, you've got this presentation tomorrow, you might want to prepare, you can't really wing it, let's get a good night's sleep. Instead of which, it's going, oh my God, you're going to fail, everything will go wrong, you'll lose your job, you'll lose your home, you're useless, all of that will start coming out really quickly in order to get your attention. So what do we do about it? Well, I'm not going to go deeply into that. Maybe it's another video. But one of them is to get into right relationship with that loyal soldier again, to thank them, to say, look, I know you're trying to keep me safe because you're turning up on the edge when I'm about to do something that's a bit challenging. But it's okay. I am safe. I can keep myself safe. Thank you. Thank you. But I no longer require your services. So having right relationship with that inner critic, they can be there, but not in the driving seat, is where you want to get to, really. Because why reject that part of yourself, that old operating system, that old loyal soldier? And something that the Japanese found was when they brought these people back in, they gave them honors and compassion, and they gave them useful jobs in the rebuilding of society that was going on at the time. And that really helped in many ways to deal with this question of these loyal soldiers. So how are you going to treat your loyal soldier today? Good question. Right. Well, look, I hope you have a good day, whatever you're doing, and maybe you can take your loyal soldier out for a walk in the sunshine if that's possible for you today. I hope it is. Take care and speak soon.